first presenter is Ms. Lee Jin-young of Cheonan Sangnyong High School from 충남세타. To briefly tell you about Cheonan, it is located in the middle of Korea as a hub of transportation leading to 3 provinces.
Plus, it has many beautiful city symbols such as weeping willows, which is 수양버들, forsythia, 개나리, doves, and dragons.
For specialties, it is well known for walnut cake, 호두과자, 병천 stuffed domar, 병천 sundae, rice, apples, and melons, etc. It has many to introduce. This is about the introduction of Cheonan.
Okay, now Miss Lee is ready. Let her start this morning with the topic of promoting SAM using Le.D. Jigsaw.
Please welcome her with a big hand.
Good morning, everyone. Morning. My name is Lee Jin-young, and I'm working at Cheonan Sangnyong High School. Even though it's a summer vacation period, you didn't run away and you are here again. So, I'm much honored to be here with such respectful teachers to share my teaching experiences. My topic for today, I am Sam, making lesson trailer using LED Jigsaw. Before I start, I'd like to tell you about my school. My school is co-educational, and when it comes to studying, they are that motivated enough and they don't know how to study effectively. In short, they are low intermediate level students. So I've struggled with how to increase their motivation and how to provide them with a more effective study method. Today, I'd like to tell you about it. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to share my experiences? Thank you. But before I let you know my secret, I want to help refresh you first. I don't know the reason you look pretty exhausted. So I prepared a short video clip. I hope you like it and enjoy it.
No one doubts that you love your daughter. Our concern is what happens when Lucy turns 8.
Why isn't Lucy going home with me?
Okay, guys.
Channel CGV.
Did you enjoy it? It is a movie trailer for I Am Sam. Whenever watching this kind of movie trailer, are you motivated to watch the movies? Do you feel like watching the movies now? Yes. So, like a movie trailer for audience. What if there's lesson trailer to motivate the student to learn a lesson? Isn't it great? Yes, it is. That's the point of my presentation. Now, let's find out exactly what the lesson trailer is. Lesson trailer is a poster which covers the whole lesson very briefly. And it is made by students after finishing the lesson and composed of a variety of sections and used as pre-activity for other classes. Now we know what the lesson trailer is, we also need to think about why my student make and use a lesson trailer. Here's a pop quiz. Could you tell me what Korean students call teachers in Korean? Yes, right, Sam. That's exactly what I want to hear. The reason of making and using lesson trailer is promoting SAM. What does SAM stand for? S stands for skills, such as intellectual skills, social skills, as well as language skills. A, can you guess? Sure, autonomy. And M stands for motivation. Don't forget these three letters till the end of my presentation. The reason of making and using lesson trailer is promoting SAM. Craig and Locker said, the greater the processing of information during learning, the more it will be retained and remembered. And David Litter said, learner autonomy is essentially a matter of psychological relation to the content and the process of learning. In short, while making and using lesson trailer, my students process what they've learned more deeply and more meaningfully. Thus, SAM can be promoted. Then, how can lesson trailer promote SAM? Here's another keyword. While making lesson trailer through blank, SAM can be promoted. If you are a good listener till the end of my presentation, you can get the answer to this question mark as well as my small gift. It is very famous for 천안 호두 과자. I brought it for you from Cheonan. So please pay attention to my presentation till the end. Now here's the procedures. I'm going to tell you the procedure very briefly first, dividing into two parts. First, making lesson trailer. Second, using lesson trailer. The first step of making lesson trailer is brainstorming. Brainstorming ideas of which section students want to create. And second, each group chooses a section and completes it. Third, students reorganize their groups and then make up their lesson trailer. After making lesson trailer, we can use them as a pre-activity for other classes. So in other class, students choose a lesson trailer they want to study with and then work with that lesson trailer. Don't forget that these are all for promoting SAM, right? These are all for promoting SAM. Now let me cover the first part, how to make a lesson trailer in detail. This is the lesson trailer that my students made. As I told you before, it is a poster composed of a variety of sections. In my case, I have 5 sections. First, motivation. Second, vocabulary. Third, picture. Fourth, reading. And lastly, further thinking section. Then how did my students make this lesson trailer? Let's check the steps. The first step of making lesson trailer is brainstorming. Brainstorming ideas of which section students want to create. And a teacher encourages and guides students so that they can make effective lesson trailer. Then, here's a question. How can this step promote SAM? While they are brainstorming, students share ideas, communicate with each other freely, and discuss and plan their own lesson trailer. It means it can help promote students' intellectual skills, social skills, as well as language skills. In short, it can promote the students' skills. Now that we've decided on 5 sections through brainstorming, each group chooses a section and completes it. As you can see here, I have 5 sections and 5 groups. At the very beginning of the semester, I divide the students into 5 groups of 5 students. But the important thing to remember is all 5 students have similar language abilities. Don't forget that. Please remember it. And then each group chooses a section and completes it using the material provided by the teacher. While they are completing their own section, students review what they've learned and complete their own section in their own way, thus taking full responsibility of it. In addition, because 5 members in a group have similar language ability, they automatically choose the section which is the most suitable to their language level. Thus, both high and low level students can participate and take a risk. It means it can promote the students' autonomy. Now let's look at some pictures of my student and the material that I used. This is my lovely students. They are working hard. And this is material examples: motivation, vocabulary, and reading part. At the end of every material worksheet, I make a space for getting a comment or feedback from the teacher about their section. It can also increase their motivation as well as language. Now, here comes a big question. Each group chooses a section and completes it. Only one section. Then, how do my students make a lesson trailer with 5 sections? The answer is reorganizing groups. It's simple. Let's check the steps again very briefly. At first, I divide the student into 5 groups of 5 students like this. And each group chooses only one section and completes it. Third, students reorganize their groups like this, consisting of 5 members from 5 different sections, like Jigsaw. But is it really the same Jigsaw that you know? Do you think it is the same Jigsaw that you know? You usually do? Absolutely not. First, I divide the student into 5 groups of 5 students who have the same language abilities. It means they can choose a section which is the most suitable to their language level. Thus, each group gets a level differentiated task. So, I call my Jigsaw Le.D Jigsaw, level differentiated Jigsaw. Through Le.D Jigsaw, students who not only have different sections like a normal Jigsaw, but also have different language abilities can make a whole. That's the difference. And thanks to this Le.D Jigsaw, both high and low level students can equally important and equally essential in group work. This, it can lead to all student participation. In short, it can promote student motivation. Now, it's time to make our lesson trailer. The last step of making lesson trailer is, of course, making lesson trailer. While my student making lesson trailer, students share a section they are in charge of and discuss ideas how to organize their sections on a poster, right? And cooperate each other, make decisions, and appreciate how individual contributions can make a whole. It means it can promote the student skills. Second, student internalize and adapt what they've learned during the lesson and reflect on their own learning process. It means it can help enhance students' autonomy. Third, while students contribute to make a whole, participate, and encourage each other, they will have a lot of fun. It means it can increase the student motivation. In short, what can be promoted? SAM, right. SAM can be promoted while making lesson trailer. Then do you still remember this question mark? While making lesson trailer through blank, SAM can be promoted. If you know the answer, please raise your hand. Here's very famous food of Cheonan, 호두 과자. If you know the answer, please raise your hand. Okay, the ladies in the front. Yes, let's check the answer. She said Le.D. Jigsaw. The answer is yes, right. Congratulations. Right here, Cheonan 호두 과자. It's very delicious. And I bought it myself, and I brought it from Cheonan. Thank you. Once again, while making lesson trailer through Le.D. Jigsaw, SAM can be promoted. Now let's look at some pictures of my lovely students and lesson trailers. Oh, sorry. This is some pictures that my students work with. They are discussing how to organize their information. Further thinking section, reading, picture, motivation section. As you can see here, 5 lesson trailers that my students made have different designs and different organization. But thanks to Le.D. Jigsaw, they all have the same content. That's why a teacher can use them for other classes. Now I've covered the first part, how to make lesson trailer. I'm going to cover the second part, how to use a lesson trailer. As the name itself tells you, lesson trailer can be used as a pre-activity for other classes. So in other class, each group chooses a lesson trailer they want to study with. For example, class 1 learns lesson 1 first, and as post-activity, they will make the lesson trailer of lesson 1. And at the same time, class 2 learns lesson 2 first, and as post-activity, they will make a lesson trailer of lesson 2. And then, the class 1 starts new lesson, lesson 2. They study with the lesson trailer of lesson 2, class 2 made as a pre-activity. And then, the new lesson starts, and vice versa. In this case, class 1 doesn't need to make a lesson trailer of lesson 2 because they already studied with the lesson trailer of lesson 2 another classmate. So if they make it again, they will lose their interest and they will lose their motivation. Thus, students make their own lesson trailer every 2 lessons. When they choose lesson trailer, my students feel motivated and very excited because they're going to use the lesson material their friends made. It means it can help promote students' motivation. And after choosing lesson trailer, student complete worksheet based on the lesson trailer. While answering this worksheet, student gets the topic and main idea, learn the expression and vocabularies, and expect how their class is going to proceed. In other words, students get to know what they're going to learn and determine their direction of learning. It means it can help promote student skills and autonomy. Now, let's look at some pictures. These are the pictures by students completing their worksheet based on the lesson trailer. And these are the materials: vocabulary, motivation, and reading, picture, and further thinking section. Now, let me wrap up my presentation. The desire to know is far more important than achievement or performance measurement. Even though my students are low intermediate level students, they are now ready to learn. How? Through LED Jigsaw, right? Making and using lesson trailer. What can be promoted? SAM can be promoted. S stands for skills. Thank you, you're really brilliant listeners. And A, autonomy. N means motivation. I strongly believe that we can promote SAM through LED Jigsaw.
Sam!
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you for your great presentation, Ms. Lee. I'm sure that LED Jigsaw brings a natural and authentic environment to an English language classroom.
The class will be a lot more practical, productive, and interesting for the students through this approach as well.
Now, it's time to ask questions about the presentation. I just checked Twitter. There's no question on Twitter.
So, is there anybody who wants to ask a question or comment in the audience? Anybody? Somebody? Please? Nobody? In the case, alright. Anyway, thank you for...
You prepare a question for me, right?
Me? Oh, thanks God. Please.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed it. I just wonder, when you watch a movie trailer, you decide if you want to see it or not. So do the students have a chance to decide to learn the lesson or not?
Actually, of course, it's impossible because I work at academic high school. So the only thing that I can do is just let them have an opportunity to choose a lesson trailer they want to study with. So usually students do the Roxy papers to get an attractive lesson trailer.
Yeah, I was kind of joking, but nobody laughed. And they really want to
thank you.
Yeah, just one more question I'm really curious about. You mentioned about all the nice things about, like promoting autonomy and get them motivated, like that. And you also mentioned that this kind of making lesson trailer can determine their direction of learning.
Yeah.
So can you be more specific?
Because I don't have enough time, so I just summarize it very briefly. The section of lesson trailer is actually arranged from the easiest task to the difficult one. In the case of motivation section, it's for the low level students. In the case of further thinking section, it's for high level students. So it's arranged from their abilities, and it also covers the whole lesson from vocabulary and reading and further thinking section. In that case, usually further reading materials like Korean SAT. So if they use lesson trailer, if they study lesson trailer as pre-activity, they can guess what they're going to learn totally or even very briefly. So they can determine their direction of learning. So, I'm going to learn like the consumption or conservation of coffee bean, and I'm going to smell the actual coffee beans or something like that, so they can determine their direction of learning, and I'm sure that it can help promote student autonomy. Is that enough?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We have a kind of time limit. So anyway, thank you for your great explanation. Okay. Let's give her a big hand.